I'm redefining the principles, and the principles say that the government is sovereign and Parliament has the right to make laws, that we respect the rights of iwi and hapu Māori, but actually we extend that self-determination to all people who live in this land, and that we all have equal rights before the law. I think over the last 50 years, an interpretation of the treaty has grown up that says it's a partnership between races, quoting the Court of Appeal, that says that there is some people who are in partnership with the Crown and others who are not. I'm not surprised that the Waitangi Tribunal are opposed to this, and they think that it dishonours the spirit and the text and all the other things that they've said. Of course they're going to say that, because they've had 48 years to make sense of the Treaty of Waitangi, and they've come up with a set of principles that say that we're a partnership, that your role in New Zealand society depends on your ancestry. That's led to policies such as a separate Māori Health Authority, co-governance of 3 waters, 2 different chief executives, different rights to be consulted on resource management, separate Māori wards and councils, you name it. Their vision of New Zealand is one where primarily it's your ethnic background that decides your role in society, and there are no successful examples of that anywhere in the world. You make everything about Māori. I make everything about policy for human, and funnily enough, good policy for human is good for Māori and good for Pacific, and it's good for people who aren't actually focused on ethnicity. It's just good for people.
I think what Māori would say is what's good for Māori is good for everyone.
No, I would say what's good for everyone is good for Māori, and this is the difference, right?
Yeah,
You put race first, I put humanity first.
No,
you just did it. If you have a policy that says there is a place for Māori specially reserved based on who your ancestors were, and everyone else, well, that doesn't actually work for everybody. What works for everybody is a world where all of us, by dint of being human, have the same basic respect and dignity due to us, so that we can choose how to flourish in our own way. That is good for every human, including Māori. That's very different from starting with your Māoriness and then extending out to everyone else. We're going to talk to all Māori and everyone else. This is going to be a democratic process where everybody who is born or legally immigrates to this country, who is a citizen, who has to live under the constitutional laws, gets to have a say. Once we've done that, that is a totally different chapter in the history and evolution of the treaty, and that's why some people who at the moment expect only them to be consulted are so upset. Most worthwhile things, the first bill fails. This one might or it might not. Doesn't really matter. The reason people are so opposed to even talking about it is we're going to let everyone talk about it. That's the real change here. We've got to stop grouping each other by race. That used to be despicable. It used to be stereotyping. It used to be called racism. Now it's just so casual, isn't it? This is what Māori think. People who criticise this bill need to explain how the world they want is supposed to work. People who criticise this bill need to explain how the world they want is supposed to work.